Live from Los Angeles, welcome to Good Morning La La Land. I'm Dr. Erin.
Hi, I'm Rob Mack.
And I'm Jess Moyer. This is Good Morning La La Land, America's first live streaming daily talk show, coming to you Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Now also available on Apple TV and Roku.
Right, today's all about Transformation Tuesday. We're going to talk about all kinds of transformation, transforming sales into service, transforming insecurities into confidence, transforming your body, mind, and spirit. So excited to know the truth today, knowing that all of life is an energy exchange and is transforming all the time, whether you like it or not. So we're going to hear claim our truth of vitality, wealth, prosperity, and love.
Love it. It's a life makeover today.
Absolutely. Beauty from the inside out. I'm so excited to welcome to the show our guest this morning. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's so excited to have them in the house. They are all experts of transformation in their own right. And Ms. Amy, you've got the mic, girlfriend. I would love to know what your morning routine is. How do you start your day?
So it's Ummy, by the way. I always get Amy, but it's Ummy. Just to throw that out there. So morning transformation for me, you know, I think everybody has different ways that really just kind of, I guess, center and ground them. For me, being a busy mom of 2 small kids, I like to wake up and just take a moment to myself without anybody around me if I can. So if that means just going to the bathroom and just having a moment to myself. And not being with my phone, I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
I don't know about for you ladies, but
Right.
like just not having your phone, it's been something that I've been doing and really practicing this year, and I find it so amazing. Even though sometimes I feel disconnected, it feels really good because I just feel like I'm at peace with myself. And also for me, I do a lot of beauty stuff, so I always say we have 24 hours in a day. It's just like exercising and fitness and skin, everything like that. It's one of those things that if you have the time and you want to do something and prioritize it, then 5 minutes of your time and figuring out how that makes you feel good. It's beauty is from within, but also if you look good, you feel good. Firm believer in that.
I agree.
Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being here and sharing that. What about you, Basma? How do you start your day? What's your morning routine like?
My morning routine is basically 2 cups of coffee. One is not enough. I'm telling you, one is not enough. So that's my morning.
Drea?
For me, I do something that I just started about 3 months ago because like my job is really hectic and I never really know my schedule. I don't really know what city I'm going to be in. So I do a 5, 5, and 5. So I do 5 minutes of meditation, 5 minutes of writing, and then 5 minutes of like reading whatever book I'm reading at the time. And it doesn't really matter where I'm at. I could just take 15 minutes. And sometimes if I have more time, I'll do 10 minutes of meditation than the 5 and 5. And it just really gets me centered because my schedule is so crazy and I'm jet lagged. I don't know where I'm going to be. So that just kind of like centers me and gets my mind right because I'm just like high strung. So that just kind of like grounds me and gets me connected to my source.
I think I need to try that. 5, 5, and 5. I like that. Well, thank you ladies so much for being here. We're excited to talk to you more later in the show.
I'm so excited to have Drea in the house. She is one of my dearest friends. I have laughed my ass off with that girl. She is one of the funniest women I know.
How did you two meet?
We met years ago in some 12-step stuff, so we've been through the ringer, and she is a phenomenal, extraordinary woman.
Can't wait to hear the stories, Erin.
Yep. Yep. So let's see, what's going on?
Well, I want to give a special shout out for our breakfast this morning, courtesy of Primal Kitchen. Special thanks to Elle Russ. She's always supporting us. She's got this great podcast, the Primal Blueprint podcast, and is a big supporter of the Primal Kitchen. So she sent over to Good Morning La La Land a few of our favorite bars to try. So special thanks to her.
I tried both of them yesterday, and I got to say they're really super good, and I love them because they're just the right amount. I think bars, there's a lot of sugar in some of them, or there are too many calories. It's the right amount, but enough protein in there to sustain it for a while.
So I guess that's how she stays so productive.
Right.
Oh my gosh, she's like the most productive
Very
person ever.
Well, you know, it's interesting. You know, people are talking about transforming their lives, and a lot of them do it through diet. And it's been recommended to me that I try and be paleo. Now, I have not done this 100% successfully, but I'm really trying to incorporate it a little bit more into my lifestyle. Dr. Forsman was here yesterday. He is the founder of Middle Path Medicine, and he's really integrated a paleo lifestyle into his work with his clients, and it's been really successful. So let's take a look at our rewind from yesterday.
I always tell people stress is like that the volume in the car radio when you Sweet Child of Mine comes on and you crank it up and crank it up, and you get home, and until you get in the car the next morning, you don't realize, damn, wow, and you never, with stress, you never get to step out of it. And so most people, even when the stress volume is up here, when it comes down here, they think they're not stressed.
Say I want to adopt a child. How do I do that?
Okay, now, so the first thing you do is you call my beautiful assistant, Alyssa, and then she'll start doing all the paperwork with you. She'll come to your home and be very invasive and ask personal, private questions, and then I get to come prowl through all of your stuff, which is my favorite part of the job because I get to be nosy and see what's what, and then we get to help you facilitate and match you with the best child for your need.
So what is your vision now?
That is such a good question, isn't it? My vision now, I see so much in my future. My future goal through my company, Visibility Vixen, is to create a healing center for people that deal with chronic pain, because that's in my past. Just a place with all kinds of different therapies that people can go to when they don't have anywhere else to go.
We are community powered here at Focus Magazine, and it is an honor to feature you, Mr. Rod Mack.
Oh, what?
Our executive producer and publisher, Andy Waldman, got a framed copy for you.
Oh, Mr. Waldman. What's up with you? That's amazing. Wow.
Well, we're just
How
so
incredible
proud
is that?
of you, Robin. We're just so grateful for all the community and support.
Fantastic show. Gosh, what great guest, right?
Yeah,
So
I love that there was a theme. It actually worked out well. Sometimes not so much, because we have a lot of amazing guests on the show and not everyone. But yesterday was great. Just that whole conversation worked out brilliantly with everyone.
And yesterday we launched the latest issue of Focus Magazine. We are lovingly calling it the romance issue. We've got a special feature on Rob Mack official himself. Ms. Tosca Musk is gracing the cover. She has launched Passion Flicks. It's like a Netflix for romance.
Love that.
It's hot.
Yes.
I mean, screaming like fire emojis, just shooting across the screen.
I wonder what her brother thinks of that.
Oh, wouldn't you like to know? And now,
I can't see him watching a Passion Flicks, sorry.
Well, he's working all the time, so it might make it hard to fit in,
well,
but yeah.
he's working so hard. I read in the news this morning he's actually going to start sending people to the moon.
Yeah, you know, there's your first date, I'll tell you.
I did see that.
Forget Passion Flicks, or you want to go to the moon?
You cannot follow that up. You've got to get married after that. First date,
right?
You cannot follow that
It's
up.
like little competition between siblings going on there.
Speaking of competition, 70th annual Emmys were last night. The red carpet was so fire. I was at a viewing party thanks to Melinda Manis over at the Grove at Mixology. It was so fun just to celebrate some of our favorites in TV, right? GOT swept up, Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, such a great show.
I love the gold carpet. It was gold this year, right?
It was gold
super
this
cool.
year. Yeah, it was. What's your favorite show?
Oh my gosh, me? I've got, okay, so I love The Good Place, one of my favorite shows. Billions, without question. And I actually like Covert Affairs, which has been canceled, but it had 5 strong seasons. And that's all the TV I've probably seen in the last 10 years.
Right.
But I'm obsessed. I'm waiting for Good Place Season 3 to come out.
Okay.
It's coming out September 27th. Yeah, how about you?
Good Morning, LALALAND. That's my
Yeah,
favorite show.
obviously. It goes without saying.
Clearly, good plug there, Erin. Good plug.
That's right. How about you, Jazz?
You got one, Jazz?
You know, I'm actually loving The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. I think it's hilarious. It's loosely based on the life of Joan Rivers, who I've always really admired and respected as a comedian, as a host, as a performer, and personality. And I think what they've done with the set and the costumes, if you haven't seen it, it's definitely worth a watch. You can catch it on Amazon. And it's based in New York City, and you know, I am a La La Land girl, but I have a special place in my heart for New York, so it's fun for me. That's my binge at night.
Oh, I love it.
Home Alone, face mask, a little Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Little self-care initiative.
Exactly.
Fair enough.
I love that. So let's talk about Transformation Tuesday. I'm in, as you guys know, I work with Boss Babe, and I'm officially their meditation expert, but they put this thing out, they put all these gifts out all the time to engage their community. It's kind of like, you know, try and engage with our community before you choose to be a part of our community. And they put out this 5 days to 5K, and I'm like, okay, you know, marketing, whatever. But I read it, it was profound because it's all about the transformation of sales to service, really. And so I was thinking about, you know, how much I've had, I don't know if you guys, but I've had so much resistance around the concept of sales my whole life, and I know so many people do.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking about, you know, what is it? And when I was 17 years old, I had the worst car. Like my car broke down. It was a TR7. I don't know if you've ever seen one of those. They're the cutest little convertible. It was the worst nightmare. It broke down every other week. And I remember I thought, well, if I just have a new car, then everything in my life would work out, right? So I happened to be driving by this car lot one day at 17, and I went on the lot, and of course the salesman came over. 2 hours later, I drove off the lot with a new car, which I couldn't afford. So like six months later, right? So 6 months later, I pretty much had to get help from my parents. I had to like sell the car. I had like, it was like $3,000 or something in difference of what the car was worth. Versus like, I had to like pay off that part of it. It was a nightmare. So I pretty much did not like salesmen, you know? But as you evolve and as you understand, everything is a microcosm of the macrocosm, and sales is an exchange of energy. And whether you have a product or you know, are a coach or whatever, even if you're not in traditional business, it's a sale. You know, do you decide that you want to be friends with somebody? It's a sale in that it's an energy exchange, and it either really serves or it doesn't serve. And so just getting into this thing, they kind of take the pain points of people and focus on people's pain point, because people are motivated by pain, and then help them actually assisting them in what they think their problem is, and actually beginning to have them understand what their real problem is, and assisting them in having a solution and a vision and living their best life. And so that's a true service, and that's what good products do, right? Even like Primal Kitchen, they take these products and it is solving a problem for us. We're on the go, we need to solve our problem, we need to eat protein, but we don't want too much sugar. They've solved it, here you go. And you're like, bam. So I think it's really genius.
It is really genius, actually. I had a similar car experience, actually. I remember in college, I went to a car auction. I was obsessed with getting a car. I had a job, but it was a very low-paying job. And I remember going to a car auction, and I remember thinking, okay, how am I going to pay for a car, though? So I applied for a credit card, of course, which I couldn't afford. And then I bought the car with like $1,700 that I put on the credit card. And then within like a month, I discovered like the rotors were all rusted. It was it looked great on the outside, but it was a hot mess. And you're right, from that experience I sort of learned too that, like, you know, it's great to sell something that's sort of worth something, first of all, but it's also great to come from a place of service orientation.
Service, right? What, does your product, does your service really help people? And that's bottom line, for sure.
I think part of the challenge with sales too is, you know, at least for me in the past, you're right, I've always had it sort of, it feels icky, so to speak, right?
Totally.
It's never felt comfortable, and I think part of that is, I think just self-promotion feels kind of awful, and particularly if you're in the helping profession, I think it's especially difficult because you want to help people, but you don't feel all that comfortable about selling your services, whatever they happen to be.
Well, and it's especially tricky when you're essentially your product is yourself, right?
Yes.
And so that fine line, like as a model or as a personality, where you're like, am I selling myself right now? And what is the cost of my soul? Is this really worth it?
Yeah.
So true.
In LA, I feel like it's one of those places where you always feel like you're being sold, though. Have you discovered that?
I mean, yeah,
definitely.
We're definitely 24/7.
That's why I think one of the greatest sales techniques in LA is not to try to be selling anything.
Right.
It's just so important to, for me, live my life as an example of love, a demonstration of beauty.
Amen
right?
to that,
Price tag, priceless.
There you go.
Okay? Cannot be sold, this one.
I think the point is, though, is that we're all, you know, our birthright is abundance. And I think that anywhere that you have a resistance towards sales, I think there's work to be done, there's subconscious work to be done, and there is a mindset around it. And just transforming what it means. Sales is an icky word, and it doesn't have to be. It is all God, and sales are God, too.
I love that you sent that article to us in advance of the show, and it was sort of about everybody just sort of discovering their unique gift. And can you talk a little bit about that? Because
I don't know which article.
Yeah, so there's a point sort of around that we all come to Earth, or we come to this planet with a unique and divine purpose.
For sure.
And signature gifts and strengths that are all our own.
And a lot of times that's called your dharma.
There
right?
you go. Exactly, Jess. Let's check out the article too.
The highest product to produce is you.
Right, exactly.
That's right.
So I think a huge, one of the challenges and opportunities with sort of selling in a way that feels authentic to you is discovering that which you feel most gifted to give.
Right, and sometimes also I for a long time resisted it because I didn't truly believe I was a big enough value. So I had to embody and know the truth and do everything to where I thought, yeah, I really actually am a value for someone to work with. So I think that there's resistance around that for sure.
Absolutely.
So, for sure.
I saw, it's one of my favorite movies is Lincoln Lawyer. Have you ever seen the movie?
No.
It's a great movie. It's Matthew McConaughey. You should see it just
I
for that
love a
movie.
little McConaughey.
There you go. I knew there had to be like one of you two. But there's a great scene in the movie I remember like struggling as well, like with the coaching services thing. People would say, well, what do you charge? And I'd always feel so uncomfortable saying, oh, I charge this amount of money, even though it was the standard rate or it was a little less than the standard rate. And there's a great scene in that movie where Matthew McConaughey, somebody essentially says, what's your rate? And he says, oh, it's X, Y, and Z. I need this much in advance. And if you can't deal with that, too bad. I can refer you to somebody else. And I remember taking note from that. So, if you just say it the way it is and you offer up what you have to give, I think sometimes it's a lot more comfortable than when you sort of stammer around.
$10 billion. That's what I'm worth. That's what I'm saying. So let's take a break and find out how our guests have transformed their life and how they are valued for all their amazing industries. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
This is Jeremy Jackson, and you're watching Good Morning La La Land.
My name is Petra Conti, and I'm watching Good Morning LALALAND.
This is Dr. Amy Harwick, and you're watching Good Morning La La Land.
Hi, everybody. I'm Drew Carey. You're watching Good Morning La La Land. Hey, what's up? This is Michael Starr from Steel Panther. You're watching Good Morning La La Land.
Hey, I'm Carla Harvey, and you're watching Good Morning La La Land.
This is Kira Reed-Lorsch, and you are watching Good Morning La La Land at Rock to Recovery 3.
This is Lindsay Christensen, and you are watching Good Morning La La Land.
So here we are, Wes, here, the amazing, extraordinary human being here for Rock to Recover. Look at this. What are you thinking?
I mean, I'm a guy who is almost dead, 120 pounds, cars repoed, nobody wanted to talk to me, jobless, homeless. I thought life was gonna suck. And I never thought music would be part of my life. And somehow, just one foot in front of the other and having this program people taught me, wow, here we are.
You kind of like awoken the universal factor within all of us. So tell us about what they can expect tonight inside.
Well, it's a sober event. So what the thing we wanted to do is to make a sober event that is cool as fuck. Can I say that?
AF. I just learned what that meant.
AF,
right?
Yeah. It's cool. It's rad AF. We want to support the sober community. We don't want it to be hidden away in some little dark corner. We want to combine the world of, people who are in recovery or mental health or whatever, wounded warriors, and what they call normal people, right? All together for an incredible night.
So we have the privilege to have Wes's mom, Ellie, right here. How proud are you tonight to be here?
I get so proud of Wes, I can't talk.
I want to know, how did rock and roll save your soul?
Oh, well, that's like a book right there. Rock and roll really helped me through my darkest times, and that's why I want to really support this cause and help share that with everybody else.
I'm very passionate about the charity. I've been through my own issues as a musician with drug abuse problems. So finding a cause like this is very dear to my heart.
With Angie, we're so excited about tonight, knowing that there's so much recovery, so much love in the heart of Hollywood tonight. What are you most excited about tonight?
I'm just excited that they keep growing. Every event that I've come to, it just gets bigger and bigger, and I'm just so proud that there's something like this for people to have an outlet, and it's just amazing.
I'm excited to support this thing. I'm also sober. I didn't go through a recovery program or anything. I just quit drinking one day just because it was healthier.
Why is recovery such a personal, matter to you or personal issue to you?
To me, it's because my father was alcoholic, and I support causes like that.
And I had a close friend, maybe a decade ago, that overdosed, and we didn't even know he was a user.
Right, community is so important. It's fun to know that you can still have fun with pure people having a good time rocking it out, right?
Exactly. Everyone thinks sober means boring, and it really doesn't. Actually, it's really, really a lot of fun and a lot of laughs.
But what is the one song that's the soundtrack to your life right now?
She's my cherry pie. I think it's the Red Boots. I have this, because Steel Panther's playing tonight, I have this, in my head, all these 80s metal band songs.
Well, you're proving that recovery is not boring.
Right?
You can have a good time. That's right. So what's your intention tonight?
Yeah, dude, to just celebrate this whole thing, because like you said, recovery is not boring. I was really boring when I was drinking and using. It was the same day over and over.
So we're here with Morgan on the red carpet of Rock to Recovery, and she has a new show. Tell us a little bit about it.
So I have a new show coming out on theshare.tv, the first ever recovery lifestyle network. All recovery programming 24 hours a day.
Wow, that's impressive. I'm so excited because in California, in Southern Cal, we have such a huge community of people who are recovering. And I think that coming out to something like this proves
Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning LaLaLand. It's an absolute honor to welcome to the show Basma Hamid. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
You are truly a pioneer in your field.
Thank you.
Thank you for the light you've done and the transformation you've given and touched so many men, women, and people who are recovering and want to live their best lives.
Thank you.
So thank you
So
for that.
Basma, you have a story where you actually you went through a transformation where you put tattoos over your scars to help with the coloring.
Correct.
Tell us about what actually, take us back to the actual event and what happened for you.
So when I was 2 years old, I was playing in the kitchen with my brother. I was 2 and he was 6 at the time. So he was like, let's go and surprise mom and dad. Let's make them something. So what he did, he took a frozen chunk of meat and he put it in a pan filled with boiling oil. So fire started. And he got nervous, so he was trying to take the pan over to the sink. He tripped on top of me, and the oil ended up spilling down half of my face. So from there, what ended up happening is that you go through a very long journey of non-stop plastic surgery, right? Everybody was trying to reconstruct my scars, but it was extremely difficult because as a child to go through that, like from 2 years old, for 15 years, you go through non-stop surgeries to try to like have the hope that one day it's gonna be back to normal. So it was a lot, you know, for a child.
Think about your brother. I'm sure you guys are all good, and I just want to say a prayer for both you guys, and that was such an intense.
It really was, but I feel like that brought our family really close together. You know, I feel like sometimes you're always being tested in life and things happen to either it breaks you or makes you. And it definitely made my family get so much, they're so protective, extremely protective, and we're extremely tight.
Wow, it's just profound. You know, my work is really in positive psychology, and one of the things that we know from science is that with most adversity, even though post-traumatic stress disorder is what really gets all of the focus, most people experience post-traumatic growth after even the most adverse circumstances, and you're such a sort of living, shining example of that.
Thank you.
That resilience, where does that come from? Is that your family? Do you have a very resilient family?
I think it's time. Everything, I wouldn't say like it happened immediately, because you do go through a process of pain and hurt and the why me, especially at a young age, because it happened so young. So psychologically, I didn't really understand it, but with time, and you start to hear other people's stories, and you start to connect, and you say, well, yes, I have a 3rd-degree burn on my face, but I'm still here. So you start to kind of educate yourself, and that's how it all came about.
Wow.
At what point did you decide, you know what, I am going to be a pioneer in this field. This is going to be the direction and the purpose for my life.
Right. Okay, I would tell you this. So when I used to go, every time I was in the hospital and I would hear babies crying or adults that have gone through accidents, I always wanted to do something that's going to make a difference. And I didn't really know what. And I just wanted to make people feel good. And so when I was like around 15 years old, I went to see my plastic surgeon, and I said, I still had a lot of red discoloration, and I only had one eyebrow because I lost my left eyebrow during the accident. And I said, what can I do next? And he's like to me, just take your money and go on a vacation, you know, like hopefully like that's gonna help, right? You know? And I thought, there has to be something. There has to be something out there. So I asked him, I said, what do you think about permanent cosmetics? Can I get my eyebrows tattooed? And because I had already done 3 hair transplants to my eyebrow and they weren't successful. And so I asked him, and he's like, it's not gonna work because it's scar tissue, it will never accept the color. So that's what ended up happening. That day, I made the choice to move forward with permanent cosmetics. I thought, I have nothing to lose, so why not? When I got my eyebrows tattooed, I saw how the scar tissue actually picked up the pigment. So pigment can actually survive in scar tissue. And from that moment, I thought, since I was a child, I was wearing foundation. I was trying to always find a way to cover up the scar. So I thought, you know, why don't we just use skin tone pigments and implant that pigment in scar tissue? So that's the idea.
And how did it make you feel?
At that time, I mean, I was okay because, again, I didn't have anything to lose. So I'm like, I want to give it a try. It was so exciting for me. But everybody that I approached was so scared. They're like, listen, you already have a burn on your face. We don't really want to get into this. Everybody was so scared. Then what I ended up doing, I started apprenticing with a permanent cosmetic artist. And during that time, I was 16, 17, it would be a Friday night, and I would like take the machine and I would start working on my own face. And just to see, and I thought, okay, like after a month or so, I started seeing a little bit of improvement. So the discoloration started going from red, like that pink red tone, to started toning down.
Wow.
What an amazing story. What a unique, like, you couldn't take a more profound spiritual lesson of like the hardest thing you've gone through becomes like something that you're helping people that no one else has pretty much figured out. It's so amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like I was telling you, I always wanted to do something to help people, but I never thought it would get to this level. I never thought it would get this big. And it went from me sharing my story to everybody would come up to me and say, listen, I have this burn or birthmark or any type of skin discoloration that they've struggled with. They started to come up to me and say, can you try? And I was always honest. I'm like, listen, I don't know what's gonna happen, but if you're willing, same thing. If they're in the same position as me, that they wanna give it a try, then we move forward.
Wow.
Wow. So tell us a little bit about the clinic you've created and the services you offer.
So originally, I'm Canadian. I started off in Toronto, and from there, my story started getting bigger and bigger. So it went a little viral, and we started having people like write to us and telling us their stories and how they needed help. So I started taking on bigger cases. So somebody who has a full like port wine stain on their full face, where they've tried everything that the medical community can offer, nothing has worked. So I've taken on some really major cases, and I saw how the transformation you can get someone who is so insecure, can never make eye contact, and you can see within a matter of months, like few months, they come in and they're a brand new person. Like I don't know who they are anymore, and it's so amazing to see that transformation.
Just incredible. It reminds me of that quote, necessity is the mother of invention. And it's just, you're just a case in point of that. I mean, what an incredible case study. What would you say you've learned in the process sort of about business and about sales?
Business and sales, I think if you truly believe in what you do, success will come. And a big part of it, I never went to business school, so I don't really know a lot about that, but I believe everything I've done is from the heart. And that gave me a huge, that opened up so many doors for me, like even to be here right now, right? So it's just being as authentic as possible, being true to yourself, never have to kind of fit in. So even when I cover up scars every single day or birthmarks, I tell everybody that I still have my scar. I still carry it with me every day. So it's not like it's gone forever, but what I can do is at least give you, you can hear my story, that little bit of hope. And what we do is just a little bit of improvement that keeps you motivated and keeps you going.
Such great advice. Oh my gosh, I love your story. That's amazing. So touching that anything's possible. And I'm so glad your family has come closer through all this.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We hope to have you back and hear more about the journey of transformation.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Stay tuned. We'll be back with more on Good Morning La La Land. Our mission is to inspire, enlighten, and entertain, and we have done that with the next issue of Focus magazine, and we are lovingly calling it the Romance Issue. I'm Jessica Moyer, the managing editor of Focus magazine, celebrating the people of Los Angeles from Malibu to Manhattan Beach and into West Hollywood who are making a difference here in LA. Gracing the cover is Ms. Tosca Mas. She is the co-founder of Passion Flicks. It's a new streaming service dedicated to passion. Also on the cover is Mr. Rob Mack Official, my co-host of Good Morning La La Land, a happiness expert who's got a great take on the language of love. Also on the cover, Ms. Lori Harder. She's released her new book, A Tribe Called Bliss, and she's talking all of the things about loving your tribe. We're also proud to feature Tracy Bregman from Mean Girl to Legend. You may remember her from Young and the Restless, and we're talking her journey in Hollywood. I'm also proud to announce that we have iconic matchmaker Carly Spindel's take on dating in modern romance. And for the love of television, we're also featuring Mr. Larry Namer. He was the co-founder of E! Entertainment, now president of the Newtown Entertainment Group. And we had a very special interview with him on my podcast, LA Unscripted. Also in this issue, we're featuring my dear friends, the Royals Paris, Faye and Hisham, great designers from Paris, now in Beverly Hills. We're also excited to feature Cherie J. Wilson. You may recognize her as one of the femme fatales and quintessential American actresses from shows like Walker, Texas Ranger, Dallas, and now she's launching her own production company, Sandalfin Entertainment. And we are community powered here at Focus Magazine. We're proud to feature Michelle Gillette's contribution, Healthy Sexy Brains. We're also proud to feature how one community mother is taking on our mental health and school violence crisis with her company, Q Wonder. And social media superstar and model is wielding her influence. Focus is proud to feature Sarah McDaniel. And our Focus food editor, Tamby Safran, had the opportunity to interview Chef Seth Greenberg, who's taking on Beverly Hills with his new restaurant, Citizen. And this woman is reinventing pizza. We've got a great feature on Gail Becker, the founder of Cauliflower, reinventing some of our favorite foods. And our Focus TV travel editor, Wendy Kretschmer, took an incredible trip to the newest Gran Vela seaside sanctuary on Mexico's Baja Peninsula. It's life, love, and the pursuit of romance in the current issue of Focus Magazine. Be sure to catch all the video interviews available on Focus TV Network and visit focusmag.us if you want to see the digital copy of this magazine. I'm Jessica Moyer. We'll see you next time.
Welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. On this Transformation Tuesday, we have one of the greatest women that has transformed my personal life, Drea Renee. She is an amazing host. She's on Deep Issues on Poker Go. I'm all about deep issues. Okay. And we're going to talk about transforming people pleasing into confidence. She has one of the funniest women I've ever met in my life.
Thanks, girlfriend.
So glad you're here.
Thank you. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hi. Well, I'm so glad we don't have to keep a poker face this morning because mine Not good.
I don't have a constant cheese over here.
Well, with all the poker that you've been observing, I'm surprised you haven't got the Lady Gaga poker face
No,
down.
I don't have one. If I play cards, it's just like I'd rather have aces or like a bad hand. I'm just like,
That
they never know.
baby.
They never know.
Okay, we want to get into the whole transformation conversation, but first, you're going to be massaging crazy people like Kevin Hart, and you're going to massage him, and you're going to be having like interview conversations.
Yeah.
What the hell is that all about?
It's good to be a celebrity, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I got into poker through massage about like 8 years ago. And then a friend of mine got me into hosting because she wanted to do TV stuff. And then from that, I just started traveling the world and like meeting people and ran into Kevin Hart and massaged him and interviewed him, and he's amazing.
It's an incredible niche.
I know.
You're like, let me get you real relaxed, and
I know.
everything's off the record, right?
Exactly. That's what they call deep issues, and they're answering questions, and it's flowing. It's very cool.
Right. But you're so funny, so you bring out like anybody who's not even funny at all. Around you, all of a sudden they become comedians.
Back it up, girl.
Right?
Yes.
You have to follow her Instagram stories because you're very, very talented.
So what are the stories you're looking to tell? I mean, what is your mission with Deep Issues?
Honestly, like the poker players are so serious at the tables, so basically we just give them a chance to talk about their lives, not about the hands, not about the cards. And so you get to know a different side of them versus just being at the table, because honestly, no offense to them, I love them, but they're all like these sort of like socially awkward people, not the celebrities, but the ones who just play regularly. And so you get to like see them laugh, and what do they do? Like, what are they doing in the mornings? How do they like get through their day? So that's what I kind of like bring out in them.
Right?
Yeah.
So what's been the funniest moment massaging them while they're being interviewed?
I think Kevin Hart clearly was like, funny. Yeah. I mean, like, honestly, I was laughing so much in the interview, I could barely like think of the questions that I was going to ask him. He is hilarious. And he's like that all the time, constantly. Like, his wife is always laughing.
And it's not just what he says, it's how he says it.
It's
almost
how he
anything that comes out of his
says it.
mouth is funny.
Yes.
I'm like, I don't even know what he just said, but it's hilarious.
Doesn't even matter. Yeah. He's like, hey, Dre. I'm like,
So, okay, so let's get a little more serious.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
What are my deep issues?
You've heard some of my darkest moments,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. And I know that you yourself have gone through it, like all of us have gone through all kinds of things, in particular kind of self-pleasing and realizing how do we transform that into confidence. What's that, was there a moment for you?
Actually, I had one recently. Yeah, people pleasing has been something that I've struggled with my entire life. Just wanting to be liked, you know, feel like I fit in. And so saying yes to things all the time, and it's gotten me into like a lot of trouble. And I think in my early 30s, I finally learned to say no. I had to do some self-help and do some programs, but it's really difficult because I sort of like took care of my family growing up and had to make sure everybody was okay all the time, just sort of ignoring my own personal needs. And I remember the first time I said no to someone, I mean, like, I had so much anxiety about it. And the thing is, like, everybody's gonna be fine. But in my mind, you know, I think that this person's gonna die if I don't go to lunch with them, and it's like, they gonna be all right. You know what I mean?
They're gonna live.
Say no.
They will
and you
live.
know, and you even like dating, telling someone that I'm not interested in them, or they decide that they're interested in me, so then I'm like, I have to be interested in them. Like, I can't tell them no, but I'm going to date with them, and my mom's like, "Are you not that important?" You're gonna be all right. You know what I mean? Like, let him go. So I'm like, Mark, I cannot go. He's like, oh, that's cool. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. All right. Take care. But the whole time I'm like, I don't want to hurt his feelings.
I'm very much the same way. Like, you get like so afraid just to
So
say no that
afraid.
you don't want to hurt anybody.
Yeah, I stuttered. I was like, no, whoa, no. Yes.
Just one syllable.
One syllable. And sometimes no is okay. I don't have to give all these reasons. And that's another thing too. Can you go do this? And I'm like, no. Ooh, okay, that's nice. So I've been walking into that more recently, and it's really like, it gave me a lot of confidence because I'm taking care of myself and not putting everyone's needs before mine.
What brought you to the point where you were clear you had dropped the people pleasing? Was there something specific that brought you to that place? What was it?
When I had messaging me going, are you gonna show up? And I basically had an anxiety attack where I was like, I can't do this to myself anymore. I have to start saying, I'm not gonna do that, you know?
Just being overcommitted?
Overcommitted, yeah.
I think that's one of the greatest realizations, because it's true. It's like there's 7 billion people on the planet, and I think for most people pleasers, you almost need to get to a place where you've tried people pleasing with respect to so many people, and you realize the futility of it all. It's
Yes, yeah.
There's always one more person.
Always.
That could, you potentially couldn't people please enough for, and you find yourself unhappy no matter how many people you please.
And unfortunately for me, I have to have things done at gunpoint spiritually. My mom always says, I don't just wake up, I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna change today, like something tragic has to happen. And I'm on the ground crying. I'm like, I think I'll change.
Yeah.
Okay. But that's the only way I get things done. And then I'll end up doing things I don't want to do and expending energy. And I'm like, I don't even want to be here because I don't even like this person.
Yeah.
I have a friend, I call her my McDonald's friend. No offense to McDonald's. And it's like, I forget how terrible she is. And I won't have it for a while. And I'm like, ooh, a Big Mac sounds like a good idea. And then I go have it. I'm like, this tastes like, you know what? And you know what I'm saying? So I just stop doing that now. I think about what am I going to feel like afterwards. And so I say no now.
But one of the things you do as, because we all go to lunch with girlfriends and we all want to vent at some level.
Yeah.
We're girls, right? But you do it in such a profound way that you constantly are making fun of yourself. And it doesn't feel like I'm like, oh, she's complaining again. Like, you do it in such a fun, spunky way. Is that a talent? Like this is what you do too. You have a conversation with yourself while you're telling the story, and you're like, and was this a talent? Did you learn the skill? Were you born this way?
I think I got it from my mom, but it's not really something that I think I did get from my mom. Hey, girl. I didn't really I don't think about it. It's just something that sort of really comes natural to me, and I definitely get it from my mom. Like my mom, whatever job she has, she's always the biggest personality in the room. And so I definitely got that from my mom, but it just comes naturally. I don't really think that I'm doing anything, and then everyone in the room is laughing, which I've also started to appreciate more about myself. You're like, you're so funny, but I couldn't take compliments for the longest time. So that's also something that's new for me too. Being like, you know what, I am funny. Okay.
So watching these guys, you see some huge poker players, and it's such an interesting industry, and you see how some of them are transforming their lives in not so good ways, and then some are transforming their lives in amazing ways. What have you witnessed from a transformational standpoint around human beings? Because you witnessed so many.
Yeah, and unfortunately with poker, the energy is so based on whatever tournament you won or whatever you lost, and these guys are experiencing huge losses. And so you just see people walking around just feeling bad. They're eating terribly. They're sitting at the table for 10, 12 hours a day. And some of them eventually get some money and turn that into fitness, and they start companies. And so it's interesting to see guys first come in when they're younger, and then they'll change their lives and use their money for something good. But that takes a long time,
you have to learn the hard way.
Yeah, of course.
It's really interesting. I'd be interested to know because I see people in let's say sports arena or people in the business arena that are extraordinarily successful. Let's say they're professionals in whatever they do. And I've discovered that the ones that are really, really good are almost non-reactive in the face of failure and success. There's a level of equanimity and focus that just isn't shaken, right? And I wonder if you've seen that too with some of the best poker players or not.
Well, they have to be, because they're losing hundreds of thousands of dollars. The tournament I was just at this weekend in Vegas, it was a $100,000 tournament. Yeah. And once you bust the tournament, it means you're done. The money's gone. Yeah. It's $100,000.
I lost $12 playing poker. And I cried. I thought, my God, that was lunch.
I lost $50 2 years ago, and I still think about it. I'm like, dang, how did I do that?
That's a skill.
And to lose $100,000, there was a tournament over the summer. It was $1 million buy-in, and one guy busted in 20 minutes. $1 million gone, and they just have to take it, and they know what they're getting themselves into because they're all professionals. But I'm just like, what do you do after that?
I don't understand how they can really almost detach emotionally.
Yeah,
you
have
that.
to.
They need a serious massage.
A serious massage. But they're almost like robots. They have to take their emotions and put them aside and just do the job at hand. But it does affect them in their personal lives, because I've dated a few. Okay.
Yeah. I'm the ones that won the $1 million and not lost it.
I mean, well, he's all right, girl.
It's so good. Well, you definitely deserve, I'm so happy for you, because you're one of the most talented women I know.
Thank you.
I'm not just saying that as your girlfriend, you truly are. And I know that poker, all these shows, you're going nowhere but up, because you're such an integral woman. You're so funny. You have so much to give to everyone. You bring light everywhere you are.
Thank you.
So tell everyone where they can find you.
Everyone can find me Andrea Renee _ on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Oh, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
Stay tuned. We'll be back tomorrow. Good morning, LaLaLand.
Hi everyone, thank you for tuning into This Week in Focus. I'm your associate producer of the Focus TV network, which is America's first video streaming talk show network, but you already knew that. And I got my girl with me,
Jez Moye, co-host of Good Morning La La Land.
So last week on the Focus TV network, we had the Renwood Show. On Purpose with Brittany Zonker, we had
the incredible actor Reggie Watkins.
On the LA Home Show with our host Natasha Phillips
was broker extraordinaire Amy Kane.
Yes. On Eyes Up Here with Lindsay Palis, we had
the actress Shai Fontanette.
On Naked Chats with Josh Murray, we had
Sheena Marie from Vanderpump Rules.
Yes, we're also so excited to announce the newest issue of Focus magazine.
And we are lovingly calling it the Romance Issue. We're proud to feature Ms. Tosca Musk on the cover, along with Focus TV family Rob Mack official.
Yes,
and
our guy,
Lori Harder.
So, speaking of Rob Mack, co-host of Good Morning La La Land, Jeslyn Moye, there was a very busy week at Good Morning La La Land. Who was on the show?
It was a great week in La La Land. On the show, we had two-time Emmy Award-winning producer and actor, Eddie Perez.
Yes.
We also had dating expert Laurel House.
What?
She co-hosts the hashtag Man Whisperer with Rob Mack.
With Rob Mack.
We were really excited to talk tennis with Carrie Lynn. And all the way from Orange County, Rachel Savoda.
Wes Gear was actually here repping his Rock to Recovery event.
And Focus TV with Good Morning La La Land was on the red carpet to promote Rock to Recovery 3. We talked to Drew Carey, Jeremy Jackson, Kira Reed-Lorsch was there. Let's take a look at the concert.
Let me hear you say, hell yeah! Say, hell yeah! Ready for the F-bomb? Say, fuck yeah! Now scream! I love you guys. Let's do this.
So much fun. Thank you guys so much for tuning into This Week in Focus. I'm Victoria Simone.
And I'm Jessica Moye. Don't miss the new issue of Focus magazine. Welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. We're so excited to be honoring hashtag Transformation Tuesday with an expert in her own right, mommy, influencer, blogger, host. Thank you so much for being with us
Thanks
today.
for having me.
You make it look so easy. I don't know how you do it, but hashtag goal over here.
Oh God, look at you guys. You guys are all amazingly, beautiful people in your own right. So thank you so much.
So Umi Desai, is that correct?
Umi.
Okay,
Trust me,
we've all said it wrong.
Yeah, it's been a topic conversation. I think it actually gets right to the whole point as to kind of why I'm here, and I started everything in the first place. I'm Indian. Back in the day when I was growing up in the 80s, not to age myself, but when I was growing up, Ami was Amy. That's what people thought it was, and it was something that I had to kind of really, my mom, I remember, sat me down. She's like, listen, you're different, and you may not look different. People may think they don't know what you are, very ethnically ambiguous. People may think you're Caucasian, they may think you're mixed, they may think something, but you're Ami, and make sure you correct people. Don't let them call you, don't let them call you Amy. And so it's funny, because even when we started, I was like, it's Ami. It's like something I've been trained to think. So funny.
Well, and we, just to clarify, we mean absolutely no disrespect, and just meeting people for the first time. It is really interesting because a name does, I have a very unique name myself.
Yes.
And it is something I take pride in.
Right.
My mom gave me this name. I want it to be honored and respected, but it is so important to be able to own that within yourself.
Absolutely.
So you're confident enough to say, you know what, this is my name.
Yep.
And it's okay, I forgive you, but this is my name.
No, yeah, and I think it goes even beyond that. It's that whole thing of accepting and taking ownership over not only your name, but for instance, for me growing up, it was really hard to think oh, I'm Indian, I'm not Latina, I'm not African American, I'm Asian, but I'm a different kind of Asian. And so growing up, it was really hard. I didn't see a lot of people that looked like me on TV. Or that I could identify with food. I remember Indiana Jones came out and it was like, do you eat monkey brains? I'm like, no, I don't eat monkey brains. Things like that. But I mean, on a higher level, I remember being very young and identifying a lot with beauty and not being able to always find, when makeup was something that was introduced to me, not being able to find my tones, things that really complimented me because everything was just off a little bit. It was something for a different skin tone. And so I started learning how to play with things to kind of adjust it specifically for me, which I think is why I have you know, evolved into someone that does what I do, which is really interesting
Yeah,
too.
so speaking of, you know, transforming sales into service, you know, I think there's so many lifestyle brands, people have to stand out in some way and really speak to their audience. How have you found, how do you speak to, how do you really engage with them and then take them to helping them solve a problem?
Well, I loved what you said earlier when you guys were talking, and you were saying, you know, it's one of those things where you realize you yourself are a commodity and you're trying to sell yourself and you're like, this is so weird. Yeah, I don't come from that age where, you know, I'm putting myself out there and I'm like taking pictures of myself. I also have 2 small kids who are probably like, what, at some point they're gonna be like, Mom, what are you doing?
Mommy's crazy.
Right, yeah, she's crazy taking selfies, exactly. And I think the reality is like you said, there's service behind the sales, right? So for me, I feel like I'm doing my audience a service. Like I have moms, new moms, that reach out all the time. They're like, I just had a baby. I gained 60 pounds. I don't feel good. I now have to take, you know, newborn pictures, and now I'm going back to work. Everyone has this idea. I remember postpartum 3 months. I'm like, at 3 months, that's when we go back to work. So I'm going to be able to fit back into my clothes. I'm going to look amazing. It's just something that in your head you have this idea.
Well, you saw all the pictures on Instagram. You're like, I saw them do it, so therefore, you know.
And it's this whole, also with that comes with comparison, right? It's comparison. It really does rob you of your own acceptance and natural, like, who you are at the core. And it doesn't matter what age you are. But I do feel like something that has helped me a lot with what I do as far as selling things. I don't really like to call it selling because I use my family. I even call my Instagram community like my family.
Insta-fam.
Yeah, it's my Insta-fam. You know, they're not followers, they're family. And it's something that I use them as my focus group on what they're looking for and what I then can return as far as my honest feedback and advice. And I think it's great. For me, it's a big niche because I see a lot of millennials doing things and I'm like, well, I'm in my mid-30s and I have different needs. You know, now we're looking at advanced skincare and things that are, how are you going to multitask? Like, how am I, you know, making lunches and also mixing in my skincare in that regimen?
So how do you speak to them about it? Do you go on the Instagram stories and talk about your personal struggles, or do you just like talk about what most of the people your age are going through, or how do you do that?
Insta Stories is a fantastic tool because you're very authentic on it. I feel like you're really real. You have 15 seconds in each story to kind of just put it out there, and I've realized what people really want now is we're going back to the basics. It's not curated as much. You know, everyone loves a beautiful picture to look at on the grid, but really they're okay with me trying to do a tutorial and my 4-year-old walking big, Mom, you know, or screaming, and it's like, oh wow, you're a real person.
They want truth.
Yeah, and they want to see, like, I do these things with my daughter Mila. We do like Mondays with Mimi, and we cook, and she'll be like, this is not good, you know. And I think it's refreshing to not have that sort of
picture perfect.
Yeah. And I think, and also I think what people seek too is just the diversity, right? I think diversity is a huge word right now. We're hearing a lot of inclusivity across the board, not only with color, but also age. And I think it's really great because women that are, I always call it the second awakening. It's like women in their 30s, a lot are having, are deciding and have the option to maybe leave work before they have kids, and then they come back and they're like, well, I want to work again, but I don't know if I want to go back full time because I want to be able to be a mother and do that first. And so they kind of look to me and like, well, how did you get into what you're doing, and how are you doing it, and how are you making an income and contributing to the household by doing that and doing what you love? So I love it. I feel like I'm kind of like the big sis.
What did you learn about yourself in your own second awakening?
Oh, so much. Well, one was that I literally thought I was like, I'm gonna have kids and then I'm gonna be driving a minivan and that's it. I literally thought that that was gonna be me. And I realized that more than ever, I've never had more fire under my tush than I have after having children. Having children was one of those things, like, I realized, and I think there are different buckets you can fall into, but I really fell into that bucket of like, I want to prove to my children and myself that I can do anything and everything that I want, you know, because now I look at them and they're starting to voice their opinions about like, I want to be a basketball star. And I'm like, well, okay. And I never want to deny them of their dreams, right? So I'm like, great, let's go play as hard as we can in everything we do. And I just feel like the same way that I teach them that, I want to kind of just be preaching, practice what I'm preaching. So I literally wake up every morning and kind of just, you know, put my big girl pants on and I'm like, I'm gonna do this however hard it is.
Well, in doing that, you've got some great projects you're working on right now. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I have some exciting things. Like I've been doing a lot of, you know, I guess host on a lot of great TV shows, which is really fun, and so I get to do a lot of expert tips on that. But a lot of great partnerships have come out of doing this, so with some large brands, some I can't talk about right now, but let's just say that it's something that is really exciting because I think when, in my position, when you have a brand that you have trusted and looked up to and used for so many years, and now they're coming to you to be an ambassador for you, I think it says a lot. And another thing that I am working on, my girlfriend, who's a really great dermatologist, her and I are mixing our backgrounds of beauty and skin and working on a product line. So that's
very
really
exciting.
Yeah. Thank you.
So where can people find you?
Okay, so you can find me on my website, amidesai.com, or on Instagram at amidesai.
That's right. Check her out.
Love it.
Thanks, guys.
Stay tuned. We'll be back with more on Good Morning La La Land. A Long Time, your new single, produced by Pooh Bear.
Yes.
Works with the bees. Yes. I know this is massive.
It is, yeah. I was so amazed because I actually wrote a song about Justin Bieber in my previous album, and suddenly, you know, Pooh Bear comes along, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I gotta meet Justin. This is like, this is fate, this is destiny right here. So yeah, it was an amazing experience working with him. He's super talented, he's so humble, he's so down to earth, and it was just a blast working with him. You know, I'm living the best life. I have great parents, I have such good friends, I have a dream, you know, I have my music, I have my friends, so I think I'm really happy.
Welcome back to Purpose. I am your host, Brittany Zonker. I am flying with Andrew Seeley, the acro yoga instructor. This is insane, guys. I've been like this for like 3 minutes.
Yeah,
it doesn't. Out. Yeah, I'm just hanging out.
It feels like you should do this every day to me.
You can set up some sessions.
This feels amazing.
Yeah.
You guys, if you want to train with Andrew Seeley, all you have to do is look him up on Instagram. He is absolutely incredible. I've had an amazing time interviewing Mr. Seeley today. He teaches all over the world. He will help your body, mind, and your soul find your purpose. For this episode of Purpose, I'm your host, Brittany Zonker. I'll see you next time.
I mean, you have been a host and much more than that for many, many years. Any tips you can give us?
You start early in the morning here, so as long as you have somebody who like picks up the speed for you, it's kind of like any relationship, right? Like someone has to have your back. Like if they know like you're not knowing where the next camera is, the next question, you know, as long as you're in tune with each other. But I think your show is incredible, and I'm so thrilled that I could be a part of it today. But more than that, it is about saying, hey, you know what, we need to impact change. What is the one little way in our own world that we can impact change? And whether it's you guys interviewing certain people, bringing awareness to topics, this is what needs to happen, because we've all woken up and we know, we know what the future is if we keep going down this path.
I know that the calling and the purpose is so much greater than me trying to get my hair right, to go to the red carpet and whatever. I got to keep up because the purpose is so great.
Live from Los Angeles, this is Good Morning La La Land. Welcome back. We've been talking to 3 transformational experts today, talking about sales hacks. So I think the question that I have for each of you is, what's the greatest sales hack you've discovered in your journey? I know.
Hack. I was like,
I had to do it. We all want to know.
Yeah, skin hack. Yeah, beauty hack.
Like, wait.
Yes. Greatest sales hack.
What's a sales hack?
What's the greatest sales technique you've discovered in your life that's been...
But it's interesting too, because if you think about yourselves as personalities, right? Like in selling yourself to get the job, right? To showing the brand, the client, that you are the best fit for that. How do you market yourself?
That's a great question.
That is a great question.
For me, it's my story. So that's like the easiest way.
Yeah. Having an authentic, meaningful story that you connect with.
Yes.
Love it. Yeah.
For me, I just get people to cheese and crack up.
Yeah. Laughter.
Yeah, laughter. I'm serious. They're like, girl, you're so funny. I'm like,
You're like, okay.
Did I get the job?
What's good?
Let me give you a massage and we'll talk about it. Right?
Ease you into that.
Well, it's interesting because I think both of those tips are really about creating rapport with people, right?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, we know that people don't generally make very logical decisions. They make emotional ones, and they make emotional decisions based on connection and rapport, and they backfill it with data. And so that's just beautiful that you share that, because I think it's something that speaks to the science of sales as well.
Yeah. I mean, to piggyback off of that, like you said, authentic and your story, for me, it's owning that I am who I am. I'm not trying to be in this game of influencing or anything like that by being younger or being, I'm just being me, and I think that resonates with people.
That's right, love that. Just wake up and sell.
Yeah.
Wake up, show up, shine. That's what I say. Well, we are Good Morning La La Land, America's first live streaming daily talk show, coming to you Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. You can catch all of your favorite interviews available as a podcast on iTunes.
That's right. We're waking up the world together. Please like, share, and comment, and follow these amazing, extraordinary women. Have a divine day.
It's going to be a good morning, La La Land.